Hello and welcome back finally to the D&D Chronicles. We are jumping back into our current campaign, The Darkling Queen. It has been a little while, so I think the recap is going to be a bit of a group effort. Sadly, we don't actually currently have Claire with us. Claire is off, I think, off doing fun things, but I'm not 100% sure. So it is just myself, Jay, Jake, and Seb tonight. So who wants to start us off with what was happening a bit over a month ago?
So, as we started the session, we woke up inside the brewery.
Where we killed everyone.
Yes, everyone's all fresh. We made sure that before we went to sleep. And there was a strange fog rolling in outside.
I tried to mollify it with some mushroom beer, I think. Turns out fog clouds and the creatures therein don't really care about beer, so that didn't work. But it was a good enough distraction for everyone else to get away.
Yes.
It was certainly a distraction.
Yes.
Which is good because the creature itself made Dan forget what he was, where he was. He lost the entire day's memories, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was not something in particular wanted to fight, so we ran away. So, then got to the city, and then there was something about a riddle. I don't remember it too well. Do you remember the riddle better? Or?
No, so one of the things we found at the brewery was a massive pile of soul coins. The amount of which is extremely suspicious. And very, very likely tracked, as noted by the fact that cloud thing was chasing after us. Very slowly, mind you, but eventually would have caught up to us. But we only found out that fact once we brought it back to the guy that was helping us because we signed a contract with him.
Something?
Oxa.
Yeah, that sounds right.
That's Oxa is your... So you met Oxa, one of the first people that you met when you arrived in the town, and he's a kind of a slowly being, over like hundreds of years, being turned more into sort of, you don't know exactly, but it's definitely been somewhat altered by their time here. Oxa was from your plane of existence and has spent a very long time on this plane of existence and was kind of being your natural guide, kind of helping you out.
Yes. And it was actually because of our contract with him that we went to the brewery to collect from one of the guys that we killed. Because we either were to collect money from him or collect his head. We opted for the head.
It was a collective decision.
I think more he opted for the head.
Right. He opted for the head. We were just trying to be good. We were just trying to fulfill our end of the deal. Like, that's on him. But we caught him with a bunch of soul gems. And we think they were embroiled in a plot between two of the houses of this plane below.
So there's House Marazeth and House Ilgazeth. I can't remember whether this was actually explained properly, but the sort of suffix "zeth" is kind of, it's a little bit like the von in Germany, essentially denotes them as being kind of part of the royal families kind of thing. They're part of the royal ruling houses.
Are they related to the architect?
The architect isn't... I'm not... Again, this is a thing of, like, I'm not sure... This is information that I would have told you if I'd remembered or you'd asked at the time, so it's not, like, secret information. The architect isn't of any one particular family. The architect is kind of... From what everyone is aware, especially what Oxa knows, the architect predates any of the families. The architect has been on this plane, on this specific domain of the below, like longer than anyone can remember. And like the Zeth families do kind of, they track their bloodlines very carefully. They don't want to muddy the waters too much, but they don't also want too much inbreeding. The architect kind of predates even the oldest family trees anyone has got. The architect does tend to favour particular families at any particular time, but is currently between favourites. Let's put it that way. So I believe that you'd all found the last of the pieces of the little statuette.
Yes.
And then the statuette had like come back together once you had put all of the pieces within a certain radius.
That was the
because in order to gain an audience with one of those two families, we had to retrieve some of their lost shit.
Yes. So this item, it would certainly pique the interest of either of the two kind of big influential families in the area.
Apparently I have two towel fluffy fluffies. So I don't know. I think you also acquired some other stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
You went into towel fluffy. You went into like a big fancy house. So I'm presuming there must have been some fluffy towels that you stole from the bathroom.
I think also will come to some clothes as well. But Pip is very much in the I am at war, so therefore this is okay. It's just requisitioning. But
just
it's hindering the enemy war effort. Obviously, without those towel fluffy fluffies, they'll be unable to launch the invasion.
It's like it is written towel, fluffy in Pip's inventory, which I approve of. I must have said yes. You can have like two fluffy towels. It's like yes, towel, fluffy. So yeah, it's been a little while for all of us, but you at least know where your towel is. Nerd reference. Hello, Beyond Gender, who has, I think that is, Kat is watching. So Kat might be coming back to us next week. We'll see how things go. So yes. It is a cat. I'm good at recognising names and also realising that there's only 3 people that I've made moderators in the chat room and you're one of them, which helps. So yeah, Kat is going to be watching this week and possibly joining us next week if Kat is a fan of this mini, except is going to take a few months campaign. I can't do mini campaigns. I either do one-shots that last 3 weeks or short campaigns that last half a year. There's not really an in-between. So yes, you had recovered this statuette and some fluffy towels. And I think you had left the building?
Yes. We kind of
Yes.
the wall, and there's a bit of an issue with like, everyone got over fine apart from Thaldor, who had to be yanked over.
Yeah, you left the shortest person on the other side. You're like, we can all just hoik over at this. Oh dear, there's a short person. We'll just leave them there. No, we won't. So yeah, unfortunately, I was so prepared, and I was watching the last recording that we had. I was going to upload everything to YouTube so that people could get caught up as well. It turns out that OBS changed some of the audio settings at some point a few sessions ago, and the most recent recordings have no audio. So we're kind of putting things together from our memory at this point. Yes, you'd snuck out. I think you were probably heading back in the direction of home, where Oxa would be securing your audience with either one of the two families. So this is another thing that I'm not entirely sure whether I'd kind of mentioned. But the Ilgazeth have definitely not hidden the fact that they are... Well, they're not necessarily 100% pro the Queen. They are certainly very much pro the status quo. They don't like the idea of things changing again. And Oxa would have kind of been able to point out, like, they seem very much like, if placating the Queen means that things get to just kind of carry on as usual, then they'd prefer to do that than try and usurp her. While House...
Traditionalists?
Yeah, that'd probably be the best way to put it. While the Marazeth are a little bit more like, no, fuck the Queen. And they're not necessarily super open and like, you know, they're not obviously like, you know, holding political rallies in the square going, fuck the Queen. They're a little bit more reticent about her.
Which one owned the brewery?
I believe that's House Marazeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the main part of our decision, really. We probably pissed off one of the houses quite a bit already.
Cat says, fuck the Queen. I agree. So yeah, do you want to go and talk to the people that have all the soul coins and may have sent a monster after you, or do you want to send, or do you want to go to see the Ilgazeth? I think is what it really comes down to. The Marazeth are probably going to be more receptive to your aid, put it that way, especially with the statue in tow.
Okay. Marazeth owned the brewery. Marazeth sent people to kill us, but they're also the ones that don't agree with the Queen.
You don't know if the Marazeth sent someone to kill you.
It's likely that they sent someone to kill me.
You could deduce that they may well have sent someone to kill you.
Okay.
This is one killer. Netflix, it was the Lord of the... whatever realm it is.
The Ast.
I don't know about you guys. I mean, we got this thing, so we got an audience with either them, I suppose.
I'd say get the audience with the ones who are likely to be more receptive to us on the whole, even if they're more likely to be the ones that own the brewery. So, they're probably better.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you head back and kind of give this information to Oxar, who kind of... That is the choice I was expecting you to make. You do not seem the biggest fan of the Queen. And he doesn't say out... He gives you a little slip of paper, with a kind of a list of almost esoteric instructions. So you're to go out of the city. You are to walk until there is a fork in the road. You are to take the turning by a large purple cacti. It's like a list of very strange instructions that you hope make sense when you get there. Does anyone want to make me a survival check as they are leading this?
Is Dag good at that?
No, that's not the right one.
Not a good question to ask. I think.
Let me release where are the characters? Let me release Dag so that someone can take control of Dag. Dag's survival is big fat 0.
Okay.
Positive, that's probably
I've got +2.
You're probably the best.
Apparently none of you have very good survival skills. Yeah, I mean, they're esoteric, but they're not, like, you know, they're not sort of the, like, when you feel the urge, turn right. They're very much like, you have to, like, be paying attention, but they're still kind of written out clearly. So even with a 12, you are able to, like, follow the directions, and you're sort of like, wait, no, this isn't the fork that we need to turn at, because we just need to keep going straight, because that's a green cactus and we're looking for a purple, like those kinds of things. So you are able to kind of keep following the line. And it doesn't take you that long, and you do eventually come upon, it's quite a large compound, only sort of like one story, and there are a number of tents scattered around the outside. That are set up. All of the tents look quite well made. One of them has a sign outside. It looks like it might be a shop of some description, and there is a certain amount of hustle and bustle around the area as you approach. What do you want to do?
Who looks important?
You do see one, he looks fairly sickly, and like he has one horn that's clearly like one of them's kind of sweeps back. He looks kind of Cambion, maybe tiefling, not 100% sure exactly, but has this kind of pale red skin, not quite pink. It's more like red, but it's been sort of sat in the sun for a while, so it's a little washed out. One horn that kind of sweeps back, and another one that's kind of twisted and looks a little bit, it doesn't look great.
The setting looks important. I put that in our party. It's probably Thaldor, you know.
Is that better, Cat? Is that better audio? Everyone else make noise, quickly. Not like
Hello.
random noise, but say hello and things.
Testing,
Wait,
one,
you
two.
want me to say things?
Does that sound better, Cat? I think I turned down the audio output capture when I was doing some game stuff, because when I was playing the game through the Switch, it was coming through really, really loud over me. But when it's just this, you guys don't come through quite as loud. I do need to give you back your capture card as well, Jay. I keep forgetting to
Yeah.
I will this week. I promise. So yeah, you see this one man, like that kind of washed out red skin, wearing very, very fine looking robes, and has kind of got someone like scurrying behind him, like, oh, you need to sort of, you can't quite make out the words, but there's a certain amount of, oh no, you shouldn't be doing this, you need to be sat down kind of thing. So what do you think?
Well, there might be a bit of a language barrier here. I suppose I can speak in Abyssal and see if that works. But otherwise, I don't think.
Just so that we all agree on this, right? That guy's pink. Like, I guess some people might consider that lightish red. But that's just another way of saying pink, right?
Is that really what's most important right now?
Are you?
Never mind, not important. Anyways.
Yeah, you're just figuring this out for when you write about this.
I mean, presumably
Yes,
right
of course,
now.
I need to get all the details down. But anyways, yes, communicating. That does seem to be a reoccurring issue.
Just a smidgen of an issue, yes, indeed.
Which is quite concerning, considering we had, 6 months to prepare for this expedition? I thought you were assigned to, doing that language course.
Clearly, it was a little bit of a blind spot in the plans. Ourselves.
Fucking Seb was the one that decided on what languages his planeswalker knew. If anyone had said, "Hey, what languages would it be useful for me to learn?" I would have told you.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for him to know Abyssal or Infernal. He's probably not never going to learn them because
So do you approach, or do you just hope that you just start shouting in Abyssal and hope someone goes, "Yes, I know what you're talking about"?
Let's just approach. I mean, the meeting is kind of set up to some extent, right?
And as you start to approach, you see this probably tiefling. It's difficult to tell. Does notice you and kind of waves off the aid that is kind of like, no, you must sit down kind of thing, and comes up to you all. You are friends of Oxar?
Yep.
My common is not the most wonderful.
It's better than Infernal, so
Do you know Abyssal?
And starts chattering away in Abyssal. And so Rickel, let me know if you would translate anything differently, but for the time being, we will operate on the assumption that when this individual speaks, Rickel translates. That seems like it makes more sense than me saying something in a message to Rickel and then Rickel just reading it out loud.
yeah, it's probably the best way. Rickel is concerningly fluent in Abyssal, considering he did not know that he spoke this language.
Until 2 days ago. So this person, I am Hidren. I believe we have a common interest, yes? And that you have something for me.
Yeah. I go rooting around in the bag of holding, and I pull out the statue.
And he kind of takes it from you, and it sort of it's there's a moment of looking at it. You see this brief flash in his eye, and then it sort of vanishes. Let me have a look at what everyone's passive perception is. Rickel, you would be the only one to notice. To everyone else, it genuinely looks like it's some kind of magic. It's disappeared. But Rickel, you're just kind of right at the right angle, and you see it as it slips into the shirt sleeve. It's person has a bit of a flair for the mundane magical arts. Yes, I am Hidren. Come, let us have tea. And he leads you all through the building. And it's sort of it's quite a complex compound. As he leads you in through this quite heavy. It's like almost like a drawbridge door in that it has to be like hauled up and chained off. But he brings you in, and there's like this courtyard with the well, and you can see that there's a kennels, but you can't quite see what's in the kennels. Stables, can't quite make out what's in the stables, and a coach house. And you can see that there is a kind of a chapel as he kind of leads you through into the main part of the building. And something that takes up like a considerable amount of the floor space is a very bustling tea room. So it has these little spots across the room where different kinds of tea are being brewed, tables and chairs for people to sit. There are some kind of large cushions and things for people to lounge in. This is our one of our major draws to the area. Of course, the bathhouse across the way is the other. Do any of you have any preferences?
Just a sort of a note. Is it obvious what god the chapel is dedicated to?
Not from as he was kind of walking you through. You would have had to peel away to get a good look.
Yeah, not going to peel away, but I'm just wondering. Okay.
He sort of sets you up in one of the kind of out of the way tables. That's a little bit like it's not like hiding, but it's certainly not one of the first tables that you would come to in the room. So you have helped me. How do I help you?
I suppose we should come clean. So part of our contract with Oxa, in return for his help, we had to track down someone who was indebted to him. And this led us to a building that you happened to own, a brewery.
I had wondered what had happened to the brewer.
Right. Unfortunately, he was quite unwilling to settle his debt with Oxa, which meant that we had to move on to a more drastic form of negotiation.
That's
He attacked us.
We were attacked.
He's the one that settled in a more drastic form of negotiation rather than us.
Yeah.
We lost.
We were leaving as part of a bluff.
So we took his head.
This is the problem with those who do not take contracts as seriously as they should. I do not hold any of you to account for this. I understand that a payment was due and had not been exchanged. But I do know of an issue then. How much of the brewery did you explore?
Would you perhaps be asking about a heavily redacted contract and a large sum of payment?
I would. I suppose you are here to blackmail then?
No.
No. First off, we have just gotten here, and we are still a little bit uninformed about the political situation, so we were more interested in learning than making any moves at the moment.
In fact, I would go as far as saying we might be willing to put in a contract that we will not disclose to any parties in the future of anything that we saw of that contract.
Why would you do such a thing?
Well, I'm sure you can give us a reason. It's something to put on the table.
And the coins that were at the brewery?
I switched to Elvish or Draconic or Gnomish. What's the one that we all share?
Elvish.
Because he knows a little bit of Common.
We don't all share something. Rickel will be left out of the loop on this one, but that's fine.
I believe Draconic is everyone but Rickel, and I believe Elvish is everyone. Maybe not Dag. I don't know Dag.
Dag's languages are Common and Draconic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just ask him Draconic. We should probably hand over the money, right? This stuff is way too hot to handle.
I'd say put it on the table, at the very least. Sort of.
Yeah,
It's something
right,
that can come up in negotiation. We don't necessarily can be something to be negotiated away.
Yeah. So I reached into the bag of holding and I put the chest with the soul coins in it. All in there and accounted for.
So, what can I do for you all? You must have something in mind to have gone to the trouble of finding the statue and coming here with such a hot pocket.
Well, as you can no doubt tell, we're not from around here.
Indeed. You all
And-
smell of... It's hard to put the words to it, but there is a smell.
And you're no doubt aware of the invasion from this realm into the middle.
No, I had not missed that. No, it is somewhat on most people's minds, I believe, at present.
I think what we'd be looking for is some amount of support, at least protection for ourselves while we're here. Support, or certainly a lack of opposition, were any further groups from our realm were they to pass through in the direction of the Darkling Queen.
As you're talking, Rickel, again, you're the only one that kind of notices this, as you're sort of saying what you want out of it, he kind of makes these sort of hand gestures. It's not thieves' can, and it's kind of hard to tell exactly what, if any, language it is. But there's certainly certain kind of little gestures. And as you're speaking, a couple of moments after you notice these hand gestures, the person that had kind of been trailing behind Hidren kind of comes over. Yes, they do appear to have it upon them, but it is rather difficult. It's like we as a matter of course, we tend to. It's difficult, the wording. It is. You know of the spell detect magic.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a somewhat altered version. It's more of a detect curse, I suppose. It is not a spell so much as it is a long-term enchantment upon our gates. That should an individual enter with a curse upon them, it would appear that your group, all 4 of you, are cursed in this way. There is a cloud, a fog.
So, you weren't the one that sent that.
What? I was not aware you had the coins, let alone who you were, until your our mutual friend organized the meet.
Right. Then I'll just go and explain the thing that's chasing us.
There are few with the power to summon and bind such a creature, to direct them against one individual or one group. Allow me to do some research. This can be the first of the repayments for you all. I will see what I can do with regards to perhaps guiding you towards a opportunity. I do not wish to say too much in case I cannot quite make it work, but at least my intention is to find you a way of usurping some of the support at the training grounds. Yes?
That is certainly something that will align with our goals.
Please enjoy the tea. If you wish, there are the bathhouse just through there. Anyone questions you, and he kind of, on his arm he has a number of kind of bangles and things, and he kind of takes a moment, and it's clear that he's choosing which one he doesn't like as much. This one, and kind of takes it off and hands it to you, Rickel, as you're the one that's kind of been communicating the most. Show this to any that question the 4 of you. You shall drink and bathe for free, and should you need a place to sleep, we have the barracks. It is not perfect, but it will do. And he kind of nods to you all and goes away, unless any of you want to stop him or ask him any other questions. So yeah, you're in this kind of little sheltered spot. You have people bring you sort of a few different kinds of teas that all have quite strong flavors. Kind of backs away.
So what do you guys think we should do now?
I mean, we can wait and see what pans out from this.
Yeah.
Or,
I suppose
well,
while we're down here, we should probably take care of whoever has sent that monster to hunt us.
well, if it's not been sent from here, I'm somewhat more concerned. Someone else knows we came down here. What else? What else have we done?
We found that temple.
That's not
Maybe-
something that would have.
Maybe
Given
to
us a
centering
curse.
around itself.
Yes,
Well, more
that's
or
what
less I think the curse is the follower. Obviously, if someone,
Yes.
maybe if there's some sort of thing that indicated we were in the temple, maybe that would have led someone to have found us. Or just, when we enter the realm, maybe we didn't present ourselves properly in the right way or something. Maybe there's some sort of method of informing them if people come from the middle.
Or it is just a curse on anyone who comes through from the middle through the way that we came.
Yeah.
Think about it. They weren't guarding the gate we came through. They were nearby, but they were. That wasn't a guard. We walked through the gate and they weren't immediately on us.
No, they were.
They were facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
they were very much. They were guarding the temple. They weren't guarding the gate.
It could have been placed on us since then, though. It could have also been in the city. We did walk into the city. Again, kind of noticeable.
Yes, that is true. So that could be a separate thing to consider, but.
When we have long breaks from playing, I do sometimes forget how fun it is to hear everyone theorise about what's going on, and I'm like, I know what's happening.
I think for the moment, it's probably not worth spending too much thought on exactly how the curse is applied and focus our efforts on lifting the curse.
Yeah.
And thinking about who might have wanted a curse to be applied.
Yeah. I think the concern is whether or not, if it's to do with that creature that was following us,
Almost certainly,
came to
yeah.
protect us. Well, if it is, will that lift if we kill it, or
Will another one come?
exactly? Is that?
There's only one way to find out.
I suppose.
Presumably, if it doesn't lift when we kill it, it might lift if we kill the greater. Reject the curse.
Or there might be a way of lifting it without doing any of these things.
Would it
Just
follow
magically.
Flames? Maybe it's
All things to consider.
Well, I mean, the biggest issue with dealing with the creature is the fact that it is heavily obscured by that fog of, that it carries around with it.
Mm-hmm.
But I did have something that did alleviate that issue. And I pull out a potion of fairy fire.
Yeah, that requires you to know where it is.
Not really. It's I put a minor explosive. It's mainly just glitter and a bunch of adhesive, and some reagents that glow a bit. But beyond that, it's pretty simple. But it explodes and it makes anything in the area glow, and covers them in glitter. Like, this stuff is never getting out of your laundry.
Wasn't the fog bigger than the area?
Yeah,
It
but
was.
the fog was centered up on the creature, I think. Because when it moved, the fog moved too.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think it was some.
Well, that would make it really easy. If it was actually centered on the creature, it would be quite easy.
Yes, that's
Provided
true.
you're at the edge of the circle.
Maybe.
So what do you want to do?
Has anyone got any other jobs for us here?
You could go and ask.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
maybe.
sure.
It's true.
Yeah,
Building up some
something to do in the
favours is
meantime.
probably a good idea.
Um,
Oh, we've got that book to return to someone as well.
book?
Yeah. Someone had lost a book. I found it in that house.
Oh,
Oh, well, you probably
yeah, but wasn't
wandered off of it then at this point, I think.
yeah, but wasn't the quest for that back in that city, not here?
Well, yeah.
It is about probably an hour's journey back.
No
That's
return.
not too far away.
Yeah.
Let's see whether there's anything going here, and maybe just pop back. It's not too far out.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, but actually, I'm gonna go to the spa first because he said I stink. So
So it is basically a spa. It is really nice. So there's like warm water sort of in this sort of hot tub style bath. There's steam. There's a kind of sauna area. It's genuinely very nice.
I asked one of the I asked through Rickel if they have any soaps or perfumes that I could get some samples of.
Some samples, some
from-
samples of what?
From an alchemical standpoint, I'm interested in that kind of crap.
Samples of what?
Either perfume or soaps.
You are just given some perfume and some soap if you ask for it.
Oh, nice, cool.
So some like a few different flavors, scents even of both.
Like some little hotel bottles things.
Yeah.
Parfum. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's my afternoon taken care of.
Yeah, it's genuinely very pleasant.
It's probably doing it at the same time as if Thaldor's going through it. There's not really point going around, waiting, yeah. Plus, I've got to break in those fluffy towels.
Indeed, you must. And they do have their own fluffy towels, but you think stolen fluffy towels are just better.
Requisitioned.
Of course, requisitioned.
Plundered.
Yeah, who owns that building now?
Us. We claimed it as part of our legitimate plunder.
Totally.
The war against the Darkling Queen.
I don't think maritime or... Wait, was war... Question, how does the laws of interdimensional warfare work? Is there like a Geneva Convention? Because I highly doubt there was one. Or was
Yeah,
there
that's the
because
thing.
of the Gods' War?
No one else is
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
recognise our claim, but it doesn't mean that we can't claim it. Like it's just up to us to making sure it sticks.
Right,
By going
okay.
back there and turfing everyone else out who comes back.
Like I don't really care about the legal perspective of this because I'm writing a book either way. But do we have any level of diplomatic immunity in this situation, or are we just completely on our own?
We're completely on our own. Yeah.
We're hostile agents inside the Darkling Queen's realm. At least Pip is very definitely hostile. Pip's a paladin of a city under siege by the patron saint of which is the god of which he worships, and who's come here explicitly to basically get back at the Darkling Queen in the Underworld. Like she's very, even if Thaldor's not necessarily at war, Pip very definitely is. That's why she's entirely solid, willing to believe she just came into the city and someone saw her and went, put a curse on her, or that anyone's gonna, the ability to hide or pretend that she's like a bodyguard or something like that is pretty much nothing because she is actually a hostile enemy combatant. Just only a single person rather than a raiding group.
Okay, well. I probably should have thought about this before I accepted on this expedition, didn't I? But
We're not here.
The opportunity was too good to pass up. Do you know how expensive it is to pay a wizard to make a portal to the below? Like, I don't got that kind of money lying around.
So you have your lovely bath. As you think about, like, what jobs you can do in the locale, Rickel, do you join them in the bath?
Yeah.
It genuinely is. It really is rejuvenating. It's clearly it's a very, like, this is one of their big draws that you know, you go to the tea rooms, you go to the bathhouse, and, like, you can see, like, a lot of money is changing hands. Like, a lot of money is changing hands. You get the sense that you would probably be, like, priced out of this place pretty quickly if it weren't for Hydren kind of covering you all.
Oh, the price of admission. Okay, yeah. I thought by that you meant like a bunch of seedy deals happen in the spa.
Nope.
Like everybody's just in bath towels and they're just like it's just like a mob.
I mean, probably a lot of business deals are also done in the bathhouse and in the tea rooms, but like you can see that like people are going for treatments and like there are massages, and it is like it's a very profitable thing. Like basically this place is essentially a giant desert. Like
Yeah.
having somewhere that's really nice to go to for that kind of thing is good. As you kind of finish and you start to come out, you are someone that you kind of vaguely remember having seen when you first arrived. Outside of there was a tent that appeared to be working as a shop front. So see the man that was running that shop front. As you know, you're all clean and perfumed and gussied up. Dagger's had his first bath in quite a long time. You see this person. They go, you speak common, yes? Is this easiest?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. We can also, well, one of us at least can speak Abyssal for some reason.
My name is Idri. I run a shop out at the front. We have a problem, and I believe you may be able to assist.
Ah, okay, yeah. And I just root around in my bag. Here you go. If the rats are bigger than this, then this ain't gonna work.
I do not know what this is. What is a rat?
It's sort of putting on a...
Sorry, force of habit. Anyways, that was presumptuous of me. You see, in the above, some stores, they have these little rodents that like to eat the food and cut into profit margins. So we use this stuff to kill them.
Oh, like imps.
Yes, they're a lot like imps.
Probably small though.
My problem is that you know the army.
Yes.
Some of them are bad people.
Yep.
To be expected when there's a population large enough, yes.
Cat says
They
rats
have
are food.
fucking
Rats are
wider
not
extension
food.
of some than I think they probably need.
We have had problems with our wagons bringing supplies. They have been being attacked by some of those. There is one spot where they seem to go. We have tried to reroute, but it takes 3 or 4 weeks longer for things to get here. Would you be able to, perhaps if the next delivery is protected, they will stop? Yes?
Quite likely, yes. I mean, most times you just need to put a show of force and make people think it's not worth their effort.
So, will you show force?
What do you guys think?
I think this is pretty agreeable.
Well, that's 2 votes. I would say.
Alfred.
And, thank you. Kind of goes and fetches a map. And kind of points out it's probably about, let me bring up the map. If I can just find it. And yes, domain. So I've just realised I didn't actually set up all of the video. Let me give me 1 second. Right. So they do show you probably about an hour further away from anywhere you'd want to go right now. But it's not so different or so far away that it would be that difficult for you to get to. So, what do you say?
Do you have a contract prepared?
Yes, and kind of brings out. What would you like payment?
Should we just ask for some like basic supplies and wares for?
I think this would. What can you offer?
Supplies?
I think, yeah, if we agree on an amount of supplies that can be redeemed at a later date, that would probably be for the best. Even if we don't.
Yes.
Depending on what we need now, there might not be a lot, but there might be something in the future.
What would you like?
I mean, there's plenty of issues with capitalism, but I do like the fact that everything has a monetary value attached to it.
Food. Rations probably would be a certain, the ability to draw on a certain number of rations in the future might be
Yeah.
probably the most universal need.
See, rations. I was thinking maybe some reagents for potion making.
You're just thinking us. Whereas we'd be looking at future supply chain.
Yeah.
For like an army marching through.
Access to different networks.
Yeah, but this is okay. So this is like a small adventurous job. This isn't like the kind of job that would pay enough to. Looking at the merchandise to support our overall goal.
It would like that. At this point, you are getting very confused look from the shopkeep. You definitely get the sense this is small beans. While you can probably you could say, oh, if we help you now, then we decide on a worth value and we get that much in resources.
Yeah, that's what we need.
You don't think that worth value is going to be high enough to feed an army, even for a day?
Feeding an army requires a war chest, which
the ability to buy from them.
But it will likely open up, like, if you help, then you will be able to turn around at a later date and go, hey, so you know how we had a really, economical business thing going on before? I've got a load of people that need feeding now. Will you give us a good price for that? That's definitely feasible.
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's probably one of the better things to do.
So, kind of goes, say, 3?
Sure.
3. 3 is a good number. Is worth good.
I whispered to Jay, 3 what?
So in Draconic, I would have done it for nothing.
Yeah, this is also, we are also...
Do you ask, like, 3 what? Or in general, or do you just, like...
Rickel, bite, 3 what?
Oh, it kind of says a guttural sound that Rickel kind of, you can translate into, it's sort of like, you take a second to kind of process it. At first it sounds like spirit horde, and then you kind of realise that, like, oh, that was just the abyssal for spirit coin, like soul coin.
Ah.
Okay.
You get this person is probably more abyssal than infernal,
Right.
but is also like, no, I'm practicing my common. So you are currently, let's not try and move the map on the thing. So you are currently, this is the city that you're in.
Yep.
This is roughly where where this compound currently is, and the attacks seem to be happening on this bit of road. Now there are like smaller split offs of the road and things like that, but that's like the main thoroughfare. So it seems to be happening between this city up here and the training grounds. So by this point it's probably like early afternoon. So you've still got some good hours of daylight left with the 2 suns hanging overhead.
When is the next shipment?
It is in 2 days. Hello.
Okay.
Is the shipment going from Mitraki or to Mitraki?
It is coming to here.
To here.
From the...
From
so it kind of points and on the map. It's like, oh, you do not know what... it is Riasa.
Okay, so that's Riasa and it's coming from there. And we are to meet this caravan at this location or before this location.
There is a report that we got from one of the survivors. There is an oasis. That is the kind of point at which it happens. It is up to you if you wish to wait at the oasis or meet them further up the road. Stop licking my... You're making my armrest wet.
The objective is the caravan. It would be best to meet the caravan rather than just them having bypassing us somehow.
Yeah. But if they are frequently able to intercept these caravans, then either they're very, very well informed or they're just based at the oasis.
The members of the military that's controlling this space between those two locations wouldn't surprise me if they've got, especially, it depends who they're I guess it depends how high up it goes.
Mm.
They might have access to some sort of more sophisticated intelligence reports than we have access to. Or maybe even the caravans tell the military when they're going to go, in case they can send guards. And instead they're simply bandits.
Okay, well, we'll go with the caravan. I think that's...
Seems simple enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so return a book back to the library, escort a caravan, and come back here to get that, to find out what... Not Pink Guy. Pink Guy is the old guy, but the guy with the weird hand gestures. Did we get his name? You must have gotten his name.
I think I said it about 15 times. The guy, the one that met you, that spoke to you, is called Hydren.
Hydren.
And the one that just came and asked you for help is called Idri. Idree.
Hydren is the old one, isn't it?
Not old. Didn't say old.
Just important and was being followed around.
And being told they need to sit down and they need to rest.
Yes.
Doesn't mean old.
Doesn't necessarily mean old, but we've been assuming it means. It's the one that said we think he was old.
Are you okay? This man is old. He is an old man. So, yes, you did get Hydren's name. And just, you're sort of preparing to leave. You've probably been there for a couple of hours between, like, finishing your tea and going to the bathhouse. He kind of comes to meet you and is like, I have found a possible opportunity. So they are designing some top quality armor and weapons. Not magic, but the best blacksmiths can make. They will be coming from the monastery to the northwest. They will have to pass by us. I believe it will be shipping. They will be sending the shipment in a week. And this is the monastery to the northwest.
That's quite a long distance for it to travel. It'd be quite a shame if something were to happen to that shipment.
Indeed, would it not? And it would take many months for them to rebuild the shipment, as the resources they have already been scrimping and saving to make sure they had enough ore to make them in the first place.
I mean, hypothetically speaking, there must be some locations that would be very difficult to defend if, say, bandits were to attack.
Indeed, it is a difficult route. There is a reason the only thing out there is a monastery.
That does sound like an opportunity.
I'm sure someone will find it to be a very useful opportunity.
It probably has about the amount of patience that Dag has for this level of subtlety. Although he's keeping quiet, but there's clearly not,
Pip and Dad just being like, so we're gonna go steal the stuff then, right? That's what
I
they're
give out a
talking
big sigh
about.
and say, in Draconic, yes, Yes, we are going to steal it.
I think this one actually very much does come under the like hostile nations. More than anything else, this is actual military supplies being moved by military personnel. That could not get any more like black and white on that one. That's very clear.
What are you talking about? You guys are just my assistants and aides in my traveling companions and on my expedition of the lower planes to learn about their culture and society.
Oh, come on, we've been extremely blunt about our objectives here.
Yeah, it's not exactly. No one's been hiding it.
But this conversation with this person, we've been extremely clear. We've been extremely clear.
I turn to Hydra and I say, absolutely no. What's the word I'm looking for? Tact? No. These guys can't put on a false front to save their lives.
Pip is shaking her head. She cannot.
Though, in all actuality, I am here to learn about the culture and society of the Lower Plains.
You just see Dag being like a front that is false.
Actually, Pip would be quite good at it as it happens, but she doesn't want to do it, so therefore she won't.
There's like the Dag doesn't want to, is bad at. Pip is good at, doesn't want to. Thaldor, bad at, wants to. Rickel, good at, wants to.
Yeah.
Well,
You're we've got. There are some people in the party that are charismatic. There are some people in the party that are not charismatic.
Yeah, I think putting it bluntly, Rickel's got +8 on deception, so.
Pip's got +5. That's.
This is what happens when you have 2 charisma casters in the party.
Yep.
Okay, question. How many dictionaries and magical money and resources would I need to make an amulet that allows me to speak either infernal or abyssal?
And you could always see if you can buy one.
Oh, yeah. It's not. I'm pretty sure amulets of language speaking are not like in the Dungeon Master's
there is a
Guide.
helm of comprehend languages.
Oh,
Which
but that's comprehending all languages.
Yes.
I just want one.
I'll have a think.
Like, surely it's got to be the difference in pricing of taking one song off the internet versus the entire album.
Does the comprehend helmet let you understand the language all the time, or is it just activated?
I think it lets you cast the spell, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I quite like the idea of a cursed helm of comprehend languages that just makes you think that you understand all languages, but people just say whatever you think they're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
Or that you
Just
understand
walking
all
down the street,
languages
like, oh,
except
look,
for the
all the,
ones being spoken.
All the storm people are just saying how beautiful I am. How in there?
Or it could just be a really blatantly cursed one where it just makes you not understand any language, and because it's a cursed item, you can't take it off without remove curse and so on. But
That would be mean.
yeah, it would. You probably don't want to include things like that. Stop people from communicating.
I've just kind of looked on D&D Beyond to see if there's anything that could do the same thing, and I've just seen Charm of Plant command.
Way.
Must always command the plants.
You can make your shrubs dance.
I will have a think. It might be that could be part of your three soul coins offered at the shop.
I mean, I'm also an artificer, so
Oh, you
Like-
want to make the thing. Okay.
I want to make the thing. What's the point of being an artificer if you're not gonna make cool shit?
Okay, what I'm gonna say, in terms of doing it from an artificer, give me how you would do it. Write me a little blurb. Don't do it right now. So we're gonna
Okay.
continue the game. But write me like a little blurb, and I'll think about it between this week and next week. Or possibly even just in the break, because we're going for our break pretty soon. Write me a little thing of, I would use, this is the thing that would make it know the language. This is the thing that would make it magical. This is the amount of gold I want to put into it. And let me know. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll have a think. Okay. So you're probably about an hour outside of Mitraki. You do have that book that needs returning. You know that the next shipment coming from Ria. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the fuck I named my city. I've got it written down somewhere. You know that shipment is coming in 2 days. And you know that in a week's time, the shipment will be leaving the monastery to arrive at the training grounds that is full of of useful armor and weapons that are like, you know, masterwork level. So essentially they would be +1 items. As they are masterwork level, but they are not magically enchanted. Is the information that you've been given. So, what do you want to do?
Let's go return the book, probably.
Yeah, let's go return this book that is... I'm sure it's exactly the same book that they were looking for.
Now I'm trying to
Not
remember
just-
whether you rolled well or you just thought it was the same book. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
you
no,
rolled
it's
well.
it's
Either
the
way,
same
when
book.
we show up in the book, something will happen.
It's the same book. I'm just not sure whether or not... It's unclear whether it's the same book that they lost or it's a copy of the same very, very rare book. That's what...
Like,
that's
is
what's
it important
unclear.
that they have their specific book or just a copy of it?
Because
Yeah.
it is the book that they were looking for, and it was located within the city that they were looking for the book, but...
Let's try not to lose our...
Very much depends on their goals there.
So I'm wondering, is like an alternative way of putting an end to the war just handing over all of the descendants of the original party that made that incursion? Like, it's not feasible because one of those people was Cove, but, you know.
It's
One people is what?
so handing over all of the people that were involved. It's been
Most of them are dead.
Yeah.
so
One got turned into an evil knight. Another one was Cove. And he was a half-elf, so he's likely dead. There was
So-
also...
it's been 100 years thereabouts since the end of since Alistair was killed. So Cove might still be alive. I don't know what the fuck was going on with your character, Seb. So your character could still be alive, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Sigurd is definitely
That
dead.
was him. Sigurd's
Ram
definitely
is
dead.
probably dead.
Yeah, and it was Rand.
Ram.
I liked him.
Ram had been an orc, half orc, I think, possibly a full orc, who had a dent in his head and was trying very hard to get a new brain. But sadly we didn't get to keep the player when we went into COVID, as he couldn't figure out computers, sadly. Yeah, what was your character's name, Seb? Literally forgotten. You played him for like 2 years.
Yeah, but who can remember him in comparison to Vatha?
This is fair. But yeah, it was only
I made a mini of that guy. The other guy, I didn't care about him in the slightest. He was a sorcerer. No, sorry. He started out as a rogue, then he was a sorcerer,
no, he was
and
a
then
rogue,
he was a barbarian.
He was a rogue and then a bard.
Any of those times.
A rogue and a bard, then a sorcerer, then a barbarian. And it was when he was still a rogue. No, you were playing a barbarian then.
It was a completely different character altogether.
It was like a brief. It was in
Rando
between.
Calrissian.
It was like in between you dropping that character and picking up. Vatha,
it's like the fifth member of the Beatles. No one knows or remember who this guy was.
Well, at least we've got like a record now of what everyone's characters' names are. So yeah. My brain is completely forgotten. So you can take the book back, and I think you picked up the contract.
Yeah, I
that
think
was
we did.
on the thing. I can't.
Yep.
I'm now second guessing what it said on the contract that you got out of it.
A bajillion soul coins.
No.
I'm pretty sure it said bajillion.
I don't know if there was anything sort of necessarily promised as a direct sort of reward. I think we were basically just doing stuff for favours.
So you are, it's a favour for a favour exchange. So you kind of go knock on the door, and a sort of what you can clearly tell is a Cambion at first glance, but a very young one, probably still like mid-teens, and has this kind of deep blue skin, with this pair of like kind of baby-looking wings. And these quite dramatic, but clearly like they've not had their first shed yet. So they're these horns that have got like this very dramatic twist to them, but they're clearly like they've got like little flakes coming off them. They're like mid their first shed.
Wait a second. Did this guy lose his history textbook?
So, hello.
I'll just speak in Abyssal because it's the easiest way of anything's going to happen. Hi, I think I have your book. I'll just just in case.
Kind of reaches out and is like, kind of goes back in and brings out what you can clearly see. It's it's an abyssal to or an infernal to abyssal like book. That's like just like a little like code book that has like little, like what you take on like you go on holiday to Germany or something and you've got your little phrase book.
It's a phrase book.
Yeah. He's like in Infernal or in Abyssal. Thank you for
the food.
The book. Kind of flips a few pages. I am in your pocket.
Right,
Books.
yeah.
The rest of us, we
shall I
have
grab
no
the-
clue what's going on.
Yeah,
Shall I grab
it's
the
Oh,
contract?
right.
it's just
I'll
sort of like
bring out
a
I'll just bring out the contract that for the return of the book or whatever, and just basically just try and get the favour signed off on.
your
but we don't need
pocket.
the favour
Yes,
right now.
your pocket.
Yep.
Kind of signs. Yes, your pocket. Signs.
Right.
It seems very, very sure that the word pocket is the right word for debt.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yes,
Right.
pocket, thank you.
Yeah, same thing if you're a
Go no way,
politician.
Okay. So yeah, you get that signed off on. Do you drop in on Oxa, or do you just head straight on out?
You should probably say thanks to Oxa. Like,
Yeah.
Is
Let
it
them know how it
quite late in the afternoon now?
I'd say yeah, it's probably getting to sort of like dinner time.
That's what's staying tonight, unless we've still got the option to. That's
Yeah.
wanted to go for coffee tonight.
Oxar is happy to let you sleep in both his house and his garden, if that's what you want. Again,
Well, wouldn't
still.
it be better? We could return to the place we were just at. Go sleep in that barracks.
I mean,
Heck doesn't mind.
I'm getting pretty comfortable in Oxa's bed. It's a nice bed.
It is a nice bed, and you're not sure how nice the barracks beds are.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, let's stay here then.
It's like I'm a kobold of comfort.
It's going to set the tent up in the backyard again, as per usual.
Okay. I think as you go to sleep there, we will go for a break for the next 20 minutes. So yeah, have a good break. Go hydrate, go pee, and all those sorts of good things. And we will be right back. And we are back. So, over the break, Rickel and there seems to have been a swap.
Yeah, I was wondering why you got into a different place. That's
Oh, it's turn off your camera for a second, Jake, and then turn it back on.
oh,
It's because Jay turned off his camera and no one else did. So that's what we've learned. I can't switch you around in Teams like I could in Zoom. So we've basically, I'm looking at my funds at the moment because cost of living crisis. So we've decided to switch to using Teams instead of Zoom. Jay, you're muted just so you're aware.
Yeah.
I was just checking that you knew. But yeah, one of the
guest thing down there or something. There you go.
So I'm still trying to figure out the best way to use Teams. We might end up actually moving to Discord. Booker is trying to break out of the we can let him out of the bedroom. Booker. He's almost certainly going to cause problems. So yeah, you guys, you all headed to bed in either the very comfy beds or the tents. And Thaldor, you you're just staring off in one direction and suddenly, yes. Thaldor, you something weird is going on with one half of your hair. You've got like a poof. That just made it worse.
Yeah.
But you asked, you said during the break that you were asking Oxar to teach you, do you speak Infernal? Yes, no, and excuse me, where is the toilet in Infernal?
Yes.
Which Oxar very happily taught you. So you now know those 4 phrases.
Cool.
Is there anything else anyone wants to do before you head up to survey by the oasis?
Wait, how long will it take to get to the oasis?
Only maybe 3 or 4 hours max. And you still got another day before the shipment is due. So you could potentially spend most of the day just hanging around. You could head out right now and get like very well set up. It's totally up to you.
Rickel, do you mind if I use that favor from the guy with the books to see if he has or can find a book on Infernal to like an Infernal dictionary?
I can't imagine that would be that. Would that be that difficult a thing to get hold of? I mean, you could go for it if you want. Yeah. I don't think there's not a lot else we were going to particularly use the favor for. I was mainly just thinking it's just nice to have in the bank as a thing that shows that we're reliable people and we have favors.
Okay.
But, so on that basis, cashing it in makes absolutely no difference to me because the whole point was that we'd completed a contract more than anything.
All right. Yeah.
Go for it.
Cool. So I'll take the contract. I'll ask Oxa what I need to ask this person in order to get a dictionary from them.
Yeah, Oxa will give you. Oxa will teach you how to say it. It's basically like, can I have a
La bibliothèque. Because we all know Spanish is the devil's language.
I was at school. I went to my high school was a languages college, and I learned Spanish, German, and Japanese for the first few years I was at school, and
That
we
is an
taught.
eclectic mix.
Yeah, the other like half of my year got to learn Russian, Latin, and Italian, I want to say. But we were taught Spanish by a Russian lady for a year. It was very odd.
This reminding me of Community and the fact that Cheng was the Spanish teacher.
Well, it was that her English wasn't actually that great. So she was teaching us something, like, she was teaching us her third language in her second language, and it was very confusing.
That does sound confusing.
Oh, hello, sir. Look who's come to say hello.
Counting up the cuddles. One gets cuddles, so the other one has to come for a cuddle.
Well, Booker's been shut in the bedroom. Are you cleaning yourself? just casually cleaning his paws. I don't know what he's put his foot in, but he's put his foot in something. Yes, it's Booker. I know Booker is more popular than I am. What do you want? Come on. So yeah, you kind of get the La Bibliothèque.
Yep.
And you are sent on your way.
Wait, no, bibliothèque is
Library.
Spanish
Library.
for library.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I thought you knew, and you were just
Being
because again, that is community.
Yeah.
But,
Me trying to remember
Yeah.
what. It's been like over a decade since I was learning Spanish. Okay.
Books, is it? Or is it? No, just Biblia. I had a different Spanish teacher every single year, so that's my Spanish is not exactly great either.
Yeah, I had two different French teachers. One of them left in suspicious circumstances, and his name was Mr. Whacker. Yeah. Guess what he supposedly did?
Happened to a school I've never been me as well, actually. So.
But so yeah, so you head off, and he answers the door, and he's clearly like he looks like he's just woken up when you get there. There's a good chance that he fell asleep reading his book or studying his book. Like, oh, hello.
I hold up the contract and I either ask him where the toilet is, or if he has a dictionary.
Roll me. Roll me an intelligence check. Intelligence check.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be quite he called in the favour to use his toilet.
That'd be kind of worrying from his perspective, though. Like, what do you do to it?
This random little reptile just wants to use my toilet.
I think you're it's sufficient
I'm fairly
enough.
certain I used the right phrase.
You are able to use the correct phrase.
Yeah.
Is this how we're just going to be now? I don't know how much you can see of him right now, but I need to show you how he is lying. It's like leaning back up against me with his feet on the keyboard. Hello, sir. What are we doing? What are we doing? Anyway, so yes, he kind of nods and turns around, and a couple of moments later comes back with, and it's a hefty tome. It looks old. But it is a hefty tome. And hands it over and then reaches the hand out to take the contract.
Yeah, and I'll just hand over the contract. And then I don't know the phrase thank you, but I'll say thank you in 4 different languages. None of which are infernal.
Eventually he just goes, "Good pocket," and turns around to go inside. Looking at the dictionary, it is somewhat in ye olde common. It's very formal, and you definitely get the sense that it's at least 500 years out of date, but you can get the gist.
Wait a second. So if I do turn this into an amulet, would that mean that the way that I speak would be wildly out of date?
It would be very formal. It would be very, very formal.
Cool.
Hello, sir.
I just like the idea that without the amulet, he sounds like, like one of those professors that clearly did not care about his common lessons.
I have to focus on everything else. I'm not one of them posh ones. And then,
yeah.
So what? We'll say you've got most of the morning. What do you want to do? What do we have to show our ass to the camera? So how are you going about it?
Okay, well, I have the book. Now all I need is the ear and the tongue of an infernal.
Yeah. So explain what because you did this in the break. Explain what your plan is.
Okay, so I'm either gonna shred it up. I'm gonna boil it, and I'm also gonna add to the concoction a mixture of a chopped up tongue that knows to speak infernal and an ear that knows how to hear infernal. And also probably pluck out some eyeballs as well, because I need to be able to read infernal as well. If I wasn't an alchemist, I would probably build some actual runes or something clean, but I'm an alchemist, so I'm gonna just throw shit in a pot, set it on high, and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you've got your preparation in place for this. Is there anything else anyone wants to do with their morning? Just lions all around.
Does anyone here want to help me get some organs?
Gonna go check on the house.
On which house? On
the house that is abandoned.
Okay.
Anything's happened to it that's hidden?
It appears to still be abandoned.
No one appears to have sort of noticed it or anything like that. Okay. We'll just stop breaking.
It does appear to still be abandoned.
Pip is going to remain away while Thaldor is doing whatever Thaldor is doing.
I'm gonna go and check the bounty board and see if there's anyone that needs to be killed, and whether or not I can take their eyes, ears, and tongue as payment.
Do you... do you make Oxar aware of that's what you're going to look for? Especially because most of the contracts are written in Infernal?
Yes, I'm going to ask... See, I'm trying to make an amulet that'll allow me to finally converse with people in Infernal.
They do not often put on these boards, go and kill someone. There are still, there are some laws, and
Right.
just blatantly going, I want you to go murder a person is a little, even if it's not illegal, it is frowned upon to be quite so open about it. Also, saying, "Hey everyone, I want to kill this person," kind of tips off the person.
Fair enough, yes.
But I know some people. I will either find you a job or I will find you some body parts.
Thank you. I must say, you are one of the most helpful people I've ever met.
Well, if you feel like doing me another favor, I'm sure we could arrange something helpful for us both.
Certainly.
So Oxar heads off to go and find you some tongue.
Tongue, eyeball, ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This game. Okay. So, is there anything anyone wants to do before you head off up to the Oasis? Okay. So yeah, this would probably be... Thaldor would probably be ready kind of late afternoon. Early afternoon, late morning. As Oxar is off finding a job, with the hope that... he plans to have something back for you. You know, you go and deal with the job that you've currently got, and on your way back to your next very special hush-hush job. You know, the wouldn't it be a shame job, which is what I'm going to refer to
It
from
wasn't,
now on.
okay, it wasn't a job because there's no contracts.
Yeah.
It's not in writing. It's
In
just...
one we defend the caravan, in one we attack the caravan. You know, we basically cancels out.
Yeah.
Your math is off from an intellectual standpoint, but I'll let it pass.
Is it not? Is it off?
Yes, it is, because you're taking away a caravan from the military, and then you're also preventing the military from acquiring a caravan. So, in fact, the military is down 2 caravans.
Attacking the military twice. That is.
This is true. This is just reminding me of someone was like going on about how you can like, because of the way that pronouns are written out in the, you know, like he/they, he/him, that you cancel them out, so you end up with like a 1/tie. So that's how you do fractions. You simplify them down to the most simple format. No, wrong crowd. Clearly the wrong crowd currently.
Yeah, I know simplifying fractions, but let's not bring English into this. That's heathen speak. Stop it.
Heathen speak the language that we all speak. And Cat laughed. Cat laughed. I know how to play to my trans audience.
Yeah. It would be... To be S for Pip, it would be S/R, is that it?
Yes, S/R.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I understand that. That took me a while to get it then.
Yeah. You simplify fractions, so they would be 1/tie. 1/tie.
Yeah.
And him would be E/im. Seb is clearly broken by this concept.
This isn't how math works. Please stop
Think
it.
of it like algebra.
Yeah, it's just algebra.
Stop trying to put math and English together, you weirdo.
Anyway, moving on. So, do you want to head straight up to the Oasis, or do you want to go and do anything first?
We're going to go past the Oasis and go to the...
I'm more referring to it as go in that direction out of town.
Yeah, okay.
I say, yeah, let's go there sooner.
Okay.
I don't think.
You could potentially get all the way up to the town if you went on like quite a quick route and meet it literally at the gates if you wanted.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
That'd be ideal.
Because then we could watch over the entire breadth of the journey.
Pip's got to be riding a horse, so yeah.
Oh yeah, because you have a horse.
Just Pip is on a horse. Rickel, Dag, and Thaldor just walking alongside
She would
the horse.
offer for either Rickel or Thaldor to get on the back of the horse if they want to, but Dag's not getting on the horse. Like, that's not a thing.
The horse probably wouldn't be happy if it was just Dag. Dag is very dense.
Well, I'm small, and so
Do you want up?
not many extra pounds of luggage here.
Yeah, and it's fine with Thaldor getting on the back of the horse.
So you head on up and you pass the oasis as you go. It's not far off the road and you can see it, and there are you can see like set back off the road and on the other side of the oasis there are a couple of tents that have been set up. They don't look quite as nice as the ones that are outside the Marazeth palace. They definitely seem more like lean-tos than anything else. No one seems to be up and around even at this sort of... This would be at this point kind of mid to late afternoon.
That is them. Maybe they're out hunting and we can catch them unawares.
So you kind of continue on. And you would reach the city gates just as it became dark. I haven't quite got the map for this city yet. Completely finished. I will have it for next time. But it's probably the biggest sort of space that you've found so far. There are city walls. Like the other place it was sort of, you could just walk in straight out of the kind of desert brushland. This one has like 20-foot high, like heavily defended walls. You can see that there are a number of towers within the city that go quite tall. Not quite like skyscraper high, but they are like, you can see like bigger, taller buildings than you've seen so far. Most of the buildings that you've seen, even in Mitraki, have been quite like 1 or 2 stories, not very big. The biggest had been like the architect's home. The biggest single building in terms of like square footage had been the Marazeth castle palace thing. But the buildings seem to be bigger here. They seem to be tall. Everything seems to be a little bit more polished in this area. And you can see quite far off in the distance, in the middle of the city, is this huge domed building, which you presume is probably where Diast rules from.
How does this compare to
So there's I would say it's so it hasn't got the same kind of pull as where you're from, Pip, as Waden doesn't quite have. It has a big port, and that's the biggest part of it. Like the land section of the city is probably only about 1/3 of its actual like footprint, as it has all of these docks that go out like miles out to sea, that have got like these big buildings have been built up, but they can't build too high, they can't build too dense because it's built out on the water, and even with magical help there's only so much can be done. This city, Nashtar is probably the close, actually maybe Ilaria. So Ilaria is the biggest single city that is on land in the whole world. Ilaria has the oldest Bard's College. It is massive. This place is probably a little bit bigger than that. This is clearly this is the sort of community. This is the hub of this plane, of this domain. This is the big bustling city. You can just see red on Seb's screen. Keeps going red, and I'm like, it's the underworld coming to get you, Seb.
Yeah, some unpaid debts.
Is it turning your thing upside down?
Huh?
The first thing I thought when I saw the red was, have you turned your mouse upside down so that there is red? But
No. Should probably figure out what was making that. That's a problem for later.
Sure, that's a problem for later. So yeah, you kind of come up to the gates, and the gates are shut. There are guards both up on the tower, and there are a couple in heavy armor, and you can see they're probably tieflings. That they have these horns coming out of the armor, but it's kind of hard to tell as they have these masks that come down, and all you can see is the horns curving up and out of these specially made helms. One of them, in Infernal, which none of you understand, kind of barks out something.
Worth trying Abyssal with them, Rickel?
Yeah, I'll speak in Abyssal. I'll say, we don't speak Infernal. Apologies.
One of them, they kind of exchange looks, and then the one that kind of had walked up to, that kind of trades with the other one, whose horns are much shorter, but is also probably about 6.5 foot tall. Is like very tall, and quite well built, and kind of ducks down a little bit to like kind of it's that kind of slight imposing, slight I'm coming down on your level. Why do you come to our city?
We have a contract that we need to complete, so it's for work.
What is the contract?
We are to travel alongside a supply wagon of some kind.
As it leaves the city?
Yeah.
Then you may wait here for it.
Okay.
Gizmo is trying to herd me to bed. He's literally sitting in the bedroom doorway, just kind of, he keeps like wiggling and whining at me, and then I reach down to scoop him up, and he runs into the bedroom. It's like, it's bedtime now. I've been going to bed earlier than normal recently, so it's clear like, it's bedtime now. Time to go to bed. I know you like the duvet more than you love me, but really, it's very early. Come here. Come here. Come on. There we go. Here he is. Grumpy old man that wants me to go to bed at 9:15. You can have a nap on here. You have before. So yeah, they kind of step back, and they definitely look at you like they expect you to kind of wait further afield. I'm going to say, make me a perception check, Jay.
Well, okay.
You definitely hear them like muttering to each other and looking over at you, but you can't make out what they're saying.
Okay.
This is probably, I'll say, if anyone wants to make an insight check, feel free. That's a no.
It might, but again, like, doing it then. I'll do it well.
Also a no.
That's a yes for Pip. Pip, you kind of get the sense this might be the first time that you're getting real like anti-middle racism. No, not racism, discrimination. Like this is the first time that people have kind of gone, oh, you're clearly from the middle. No. Like it isn't that you see is like a couple of other people that were clearly like just arriving at the city. It's quite late, and you get the sense that maybe because it's nighttime, that might be why they're on kind of higher alert. But a couple of they might be bearded devils, not dragons. Couple of bearded dragons just come up to the gate. No, bearded devils go up to the gate and they're allowed through. They're pretty much just waved through. It is very much clear, like, you smell like the middle, we don't like you.
Question, do bearded devils
Seems
share
like
any
proper
resemblance
security
to bearded
practices.
dragons?
I don't know. Now I have to think about that.
Yeah, Kasupa's been a city guard, and she also is kind of at war with them. She's not really holding it against them with their sort of not letting her in the city, I don't think. Because she probably wouldn't if the situation was reversed.
Okay, so... Let me just, right. This is...
Yeah, no, nothing like a bearded dragon.
This is a bearded devil.
Oh wait, they have a tail. Maybe they're a little bit like a bearded
No.
dragon.
I'm fallen into reading some things about stuff. I don't know, it sort of depends on what bearded devil you look at, because that's the official one.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also like that could look like a bearded dragon. A bit.
Yeah, I could say that is. Okay.
I used to desperately want a bearded dragon when I was younger.
I had one. They're cute.
Let's switch back to fantasy grounds. There we go. Are you okay now? Are you gonna keep wanting me to go to bed? He's very sad. He's so sad. It's bedtime. Bedtime for grumpy old men. So yeah, it is. I will say at this point, it is nighttime by the time you've arrived here, and you're just outside the city gates.
Can I camp in the spot they told us to camp? As
Yeah.
in, like, right in front of the gates, because, you know, they might expect us to move away, but they told
kind
us
of
to stay here.
they definitely like push you. They would like come up if you started pitching it like on the road. They would have a problem, but if you're like literally like just off the road,
Yeah.
right in front of the gates, they're like, you're not inside the city. That's fine, whatever. There's clearly a certain amount of, you are clearly taking it by the letter of the law and not the spirit, but we'll allow it.
Should probably set a watch, just in case.
Yep, if you want to watch.
Yeah. Oh wait, do I have? Oh, I do have dark vision. Yeah, I'll take watch.
Are you on first watch?
Pip to take first watch if no one else wants to do it. But
Are you just doing it one at a time, or are you gonna overlap it all?
overlap slightly at
I mean,
the
there's
edges.
4 of us, so we should probably just do one at a time with 4 of us.
Overlap like 15 minutes or so, sort of thing. So in case there's anything needs to be said.
We are right in front of a load of guards, so
Yeah, but they're infernal guards, so they're probably not
This is
very
true.
good. So,
Racism. They're probably not very good guards. Not they won't care about us and if our stuff gets nicked. Just they're probably not very good.
if they can deploy against us, they're the prime targets we can avoid back. But yeah, no, it's more just they wouldn't really care if we got taken.
They probably wouldn't care. Okay.
Probably shoot some hungry ones if they got too close, but someone could probably steal from us without really worry about it.
Okay, so up first will be Pip, and then there's going to be a little 15-minute overlap between Pip and... Who wants to go up second?
I'll go next.
Thaldor? Okay, is there anything that the two of you want to talk about while everyone else is asleep?
So... I'm guessing you're here purely on... What did you expect hell to be like?
With less of the trappings of civilization.
Ah, okay.
I thought it was going to be a lot more savage.
I mean,
But the size of the city, for example, is much larger than I would have thought possible in such a forsaken place.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing, though. So it's a little bit difficult to get a reading on the below because the political situation, there are times of stability and then there are times of complete and utter chaos. It seems to bounce back and forth between the two, as far as I've read. It seems that this is one of the more stable periods of time.
I wonder if that helps with grouping people together or if it hinders. I've not seen... They don't really do eat food, so obviously there's some degree to which they need sort of farms or something to support them. But I've not seen anything like that around so far. Interesting.
Well,
thinking
we'll
about
be traveling with some the caravan soon. They probably know a little bit about where they source their food.
I'd be grown in like caverns underneath or something. It's difficult to grow food in the desert, I suspect. Although I don't know how this plane works too well. Something worth considering if we're going to be bringing our own forces through it. We need a way to feed them. Obviously, buying off the merchants is one way, but if that turns out not to be possible, then being able to access local food sources would be handy too. And if they're all behind sort of walls like that, points at the walls, then obviously it's going to be a little bit more difficult to do so. And certainly trying to siege this place if the food production is all inside is going to be nigh impossible.
Right. Well, I'm no... Though I am... This is... What I've come and realized is that my expertise on this area, on the below, is not as detailed as I wished. Turns out that the pearly gates of academia are a bit of out of touch on what is actually happening down here. Which is, of course, an amazing opportunity for myself. Think of the... I would be a foremost leading expert on society in the lower planes when I get back. But... And that juicy tenure money, like... But beyond that, I do know this about history. Being a sieging power on a plane that you are not familiar with is a little bit difficult.
Yes.
Like, consider the fact that in the 6 months that they trained us, the city did not fall to the Darkling Queen. The powers of the below are very powerful, I'll give you that. But they are still outsiders, and they still need to deal with the fortifications of Wayland?
Waden. Except it's Nashtar is the
damn.
city you came from.
Nashtar, Wayden.
It's cool, Seb. You've only been playing in this world for what, 4 years now?
Is it Waden or is it?
I only
So
visited these cities 2 sessions throughout an entire campaign, okay?
There is both Walden and Waden are 2 separate places.
And is Walden
And there's
on the siege,
also
or is
that.
Waden on the
Don't
siege?
get me started on that.
Neither of them are currently under siege. It's Nashtar that is the right.
Toby, I'm an
Sigurd.
American, okay?
Just Sigurd was human from Nashtar, who's the one that killed Alistair, who was the Darkling Queen's love, and now the Darkling Queen is very angry and wants to make Sigurd's people suffer. So Nashtar is the city that's under siege.
Right, I thought Walden was under siege.
Okay.
What's a misunderstanding? Okay, so not quite as overtly hostile as I thought it was, but it's still...
I mean, they're still not a fan of anyone from the middle.
No. No, but Pip's not like come from a city that's under siege by the forces of the city themselves. So no, it's a bit less direct.
They would still not be happy to find out about the bomb you have in your pocket. The holy water.
I'd call it less a bomb, more like a highly toxic substance that you're just carrying around casually.
It's like the most controlled substance in the entire below, and you're just like, yeah, I've got some vials, what about it?
But
It's difficult. It's going to be difficult to siege. I would want to siege this place, but if it's worth considering the possibility, it's worth considering what might happen, and certainly it will be impossible to siege if the food is inside within the city walls. You'd have to storm it.
I would say a more likely and more effective method would not be a massive incursion using armies, but more instead destabilizing the government.
Probably more effective, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't map out the route for an army if that is what it comes to. Obviously, we can do our part to destabilize them while we're down here, but we're still on a fact-finding, a scouting expedition, as it were, rather than necessarily to obviate the need for any army at all.
Yes, but think about it. 1, there would be far fewer potential casualties. 2, that means less people would come over here and less people writing books.
Just gonna sigh at that one.
But also, most importantly, the casualties, the potential casualties. That's the most important thing. But also, kind of, I want to be the leading expert, not some bigwig that they're going to bring in.
Well, you could always view the writing out, sort of planning out routes for the army as a way of demonstrating your superior knowledge of the area. After all, if you read what is this sort of planning, but is in some ways a travel guide of sorts, with a particular focus on certain things and features, but still a travel guide in that sense, and surely that would have its own worth as for you to write when you come to this place.
I suppose.
Anyway, I best get to bed. Hope you have a good watch. And Pippa's gonna just go to bed and go to sleep.
There, you sit with your thoughts for about an hour or so, Thaldor, before.
I'm just dreaming up all the nonsensical things I would do to my peers if I get tenure. Like, think of all the grad students and all the nonsense I'm gonna put them through.
And then sort of about an hour of that, and not much happening.
Just salivating at the thought.
So you wake up Rickel to Thaldor just looking into the distance, just like, if only one day.
Huh. Well, I suppose it's about time for my watch.
So, managed to sort anything out as far as, remembering stuff, or still a blank slate on that front?
I've not really been trying.
Oh, do you have a sense that you don't want to?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, what's there to remember exactly? I can... Yeah?
Fair enough point. Well, yeah. Good night. And then...
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Thaldor heads to bed, thoroughly chastised for suggesting that the amnesiac remembers some things.
Just doesn't feel like he's forgotten anything. He just doesn't. He just doesn't know things.
Just have a massive gap for the last 20 years of your life.
And
it's not massive. He probably just lived an eventful life.
I like to think that there's probably an adventuring party out there who are scrambling across the continent trying to find their long lost friend, and he's in the below.
He only fell off the boat, like, right near Ashtar. We can find him. We just need to find him.
He might have a wife and kids. Who knows? Like, just desperately missing you, waiting by the doorstep, and you're just, I'm in the below, I'm happy, and I don't care.
When will Papa return from the sea? Soon, child, soon. I do love it when my players go, yeah, my character can't remember shit. You make it up. Like, one day, except not currently. Not on the first domain. We're not like getting into complex backstories like half a mile into the long journey.
I might feel
I'm gonna start up
for
a
you
betting
at
pool.
some points.
I'm
So
gonna start a betting pool amongst the rest of the party on what your backstory is. And when we have the massive parade, and when somebody in the crowd inevitably recognizes you in our hero's parade, then we'll find out which of us is correct.
Could be a cat.
Yeah, no. So, just out of interest, you sort of... Well... Nah, alright. Give too much away.
Yeah, no, don't tell us anything.
No.
So, you sit for your sort of hour or so of watch, Rickel. Few people, it's sort of getting to that point where it's almost dawn, so there are some people that are like starting to come into the city.
Right.
And they seem to be like, the guard changes, people are being let in without any hassle. There are clearly like a lot of like weird looks at you lot. But yeah, people are just sort of, waved in. And your watch comes to an end. Dag wakes up, plonks himself down next to you, sort of grunts and nods.
Good luck with the last watch, Dag. Don't think anything has happened so far, so...
People seem to mostly, be avoiding you. There is a certain amount of, ooh, what's going on with that lot? Yeah, Dag's watch comes around and Dag starts making breakfast for everyone. And the probably about an hour later, this wagon rolls out with these two jet black horses with these kind of they have very complex kind of blinkers and things on. There's a Cambion sat on the sort of driving seat of the wagon. Kind of, are you for the ones sent by Idri?
Yep.
I wasn't expecting you right outside the city gates. Are you ready to go?
Yes. Yeah, we figured we'd come with you the whole way, just in case.
As you start to head down the road, we have only got 20 minutes left, so I am reticent to throw us into too much there. So I think we are going to end the session there for this week. It's been good to get back into the game. I have missed it. It's good to have the audio working again. I will probably be playing some Baldur's Gate 3 on Monday night, as I'm handing Jay back his capture card this weekend. And I will be getting back into the habit of doing my weekly game streams, and then we should be back, and we should have Claire with us, and possibly Kat joining us again next Thursday. So, thank you everybody, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.